If you watched the short, you already know what we're talking about today. And if you didn't, it's the NSP-1K by Brooklyn Tony. Fully automatic, solenoid system, no control board. How cool is that? Okay, so it took me all week to build this thing, and it's basically just a big honkin' pistol, right? Now I've done the optional rear component, the trunnion, I think he calls it, with the end strike stock point, and it's got pick rail and all that good stuff, but I mean, it's definitely a little submachine gun platform. But this build was not without its issues. From go, I had some problems with the flasher relay not working correctly. It would work intermittently. It would always fire single fire on either switch setting, but it didn't want to work with the automatic fire reliably. So I swapped it out with a spare relay, because anytime I buy anything, I order two. And that got it up and running today, just as you saw it. And he suggests any MOSFET will do. I'm going to be that guy. I'm going to say just get the little value MOSFET from Out of Darts. The little green square. It worked perfectly. No issues. It's a very specific build. It has very specific hardware. The switches he recommends are the ones that fit. Full stop. Don't try to use anything else. They're not going to fit. But when you get it all put together, it's really good. It's a great little platform. The grip is wonderful, which is weird. And it's not something that we talk enough about. But a lot of things that have been made in this community have atrocious grips that aren't comfortable for any of us. But this one, this shape, your hand sucks right in there. There's no weird sharp edges. And you can just fire off rounds. It's a 3S build because it has a solenoid. This one is running low keys and therefore comes in right around 100 feet per second on DZ Max AF Pro darts. And a little hotter, 110, 115 on worker darts, because they are a little firmer. It feels good in the hand. It's a good weight. It's a little heavy because of that solenoid, but because it's designed to be run as a little, submachine gun platform, it's really good at it. In terms of performance in an actual war, I don't know. I literally finished this today. My soldering iron and stuff is still out on my workstation. But I can tell you for sure that I'm not only going to take it with me to my next event in May, but it's going in my kit to go with me to PA Survival Fest in June, because it's a solenoid-driven, select fire blaster. And select fire is hard to find to begin with, but select fire and solenoid, that's like my number 2 favorite nonsense behind shells. And this one, that I can put a stock point on it, that I could set it to be a little submachine gun and throw it in my kit, and it's this small, this is really good. And that's coming from having multiple Meowsers and stuff available to me too. Do I love my Anoid Meowser? Absolutely. But it doesn't have select fire. At least not yet. I'm toying with some thoughts. But the ability to just crank this thing over and go, yeah, I got it. That's really desirable to me. In terms of design, it's pretty attractive, right? It's a big pistol in form factor. It's got 2 muzzle accessories that you can put on. This is the one I used. I like the shape, and I like that it gives it a little more space gun flair. To actually tear it down, get it the battery and stuff, you're going to take down this screw. I used a thumb screw because I have a million of them. And then, magnets. There are 2 magnets up here and 2 magnets right here that hold together this part of the blaster. And then, this rear trunnion thing comes off, and there's 4 magnets on each side. And that's the whole wiring setup right there. And I've kind of had to glue it in around the solenoid on the housing. Here, we'll see how it's all set up in there. And he doesn't suggest that. It's not in the instructions anywhere, but I'm a careful guy, so that's what I did. In terms of evaluating a blaster from a new designer, right? He doesn't have anything else on printables that I can find. I'd give this like a 7 out of 10. And the only reason it's not an 8 or a 9 is it is a finicky build, like I said. I had to go through 2 relays to get it working right, 2 MOSFETs of different types to get it working right, and I finally landed on this, and I wouldn't suggest this to someone with no electrical knowledge. But in terms of fun factor, I'd give this like an 11 out of 10. The fire selector switch built in, and the ability to just is really, really cool. There are some other little issues that you might run into. He's got 2 versions of the pusher nub. An experimental version, which he says is the version he used, which uses a 6/32 heat set insert, or one that slides over the pre-existing nut. If you're going to use the one with the pre-existing nut, you're going to need some serious 2-part epoxy to keep that thing on there, or it will launch off the end of it, and you better hope it doesn't go in your flywheels. It is micro flywheel only, so it's only going to run on Gale wheels, Flywheel the World wheels, or I guess the new Baby Banshees. I don't know if the Spartan wheels will fit in here. I don't have any. But this is a really fun little blaster. I do recommend checking it out. And if you like to build things, if you enjoy sitting at your bench and tinkering, this is a really great option. Or if you're looking for a cool project to move into the next realm, to go from just doing strifes and basic flywheel mods to something a little more complicated, this is a great option. You're putting a couple of extra little circuit boards in there that have to be carefully dealt with and soldered, but they're not expensive if you blow one out. All the way at the end, usability, interest, potential, and fun factor, this thing's got to be like a 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10, and it is a tremendous thing in hand. The weight is great, the shape is wonderful, and I can't wait to run it all over the place. And PA Survival Fest in June, that first weekend, 2nd and 3rd, I'm bringing this. I'll see you all next time.